All right, here we go. Okay, that was pretty smooth transition. It's improving every day, right? Okay, so we're on day 3. Welcome to the living course. All right, session 3, hidden secrets from the online business secret society. Who we got here? All right, what's up, guys? We got Cody, Rob. Who is ready to go? Who's ready to go for day 3? All right, lost in the matrix. Definitely not lost in the matrix. So who's here? Who's ready to rock? And where are you coming in from? Okay, so I've noticed like a bit of a trend. We've got new people joining every single day. Carl over there, the Swedish Viking, is making it happen. So please put in like where you're calling in from, what's going on. I'm stoked. Okay, so we're here for day 3, and we're here in the living course. All right. So exciting. So this living course, as you know, is all about, driving that kind of core motivation, because you may not be as lucky as I was in those early days. So I talked a lot about, my experiences and my journey through discovering that freedom secret society of all these like hidden people around the planet, building these little online businesses. And it's been really, really fun. So you may not have that mentor that can guide you in the right direction. And so this is what this is. This is like a daily mentorship. And I can't wait. All right, I can't wait. So yesterday, obviously, we talked a bit about like my mentors. All right, like I was just saying. And some of them, it was terrible. Some of them gave me some awful advice that I followed and lost a lot of money on. And I also lost a lot of time on. And I also lost a lot of heart and motivation for this whole thing on. But then I had the good guys. I had the guys that like literally knew what was up, knew where to point me, and knew sort of my situation and what I wanted to do. So who's ready? Let me know here in the chat. Who's ready to hear more from like those hidden door mentors that like kind of guided me down that right path and those choices? And again, like these first sessions, they're not as, I guess, technical as like the upcoming sessions. So these sessions here are to put you in the right frame and the right motivation to go ahead and just absolutely explode with your freedom business. Okay, to get you thinking like these millionaires, these freedom business millionaires. And to do that, I really have to show you like how to approach this whole thing. And so we've learned a little bit already, okay? And we've discovered, okay, we've got to bring this back to the world that we live in right now and the world that you have right now. I mean, you're here, I'm streaming this live, okay, from Bali. Like I look out and it's like the most beautiful, epic sunrise ever. And as you can tell, right, they've got quite fast internet and everything. The world is literally at your fingertips right now, or your phone, or wherever you're at. Actually, just curiosity, who's watching this from a phone and who's watching this on their desktop? And another thing that I'm curious about is who's actually like taking notes and like really diving into this and applying this to their lifestyle. Let me know in the little chat thing. It's so good. All right, we got Martin, Craig, Tyler, Arif, Peter's back, Marcy's back. It's fantastic to see you guys again. I love hanging out with you in the morning. Julius, man, the Bali event was magical. Hey, I'm curious, if you're in Bali, what made it so special, do you think? What was the thing that made it special? But anyway, we're here in this day and age, okay, with this in front of us, okay, that is literally throwing transactions and cash around as we speak, okay? So there's someone sitting somewhere, or there's a lot of people sitting in a lot of places, and they're sitting there and they're refreshing their phone and seeing all the sales that they're making online every second. And there's someone doing this, okay? And these can be like sort of low priced sales at high volume, or they could be higher ticket sales at a smaller volume, okay? And these are the sorts of decisions that you're gonna have to make in your freedom business. And I'm really, really looking forward to, guiding you to this airwaves green river of glory, all right? So that's what we're doing. Now, again, a little bit of a recap, okay? The big secret is, obviously creating value out of thin air. That's what we're here to do. It's almost like magic, okay? Let me know actually as well, who's experienced a ring, Okay, I told the story yesterday about one of my businesses and the feeling that I got when I had a sale come in and it just like notified me on my phone, and it was just like it just totally like changed everything. Okay, a brand new business, because it wasn't about the product, it wasn't about the money coming in, it wasn't about any of those things. What it really was about was that I, through my own resources, my own time, and my own skills, I sat down and I built something in a few days that made income come into me. All right, like come in. And that's what we're here to do. Okay, that's what we're here to do. And I love bringing it back to that like little core thing. And we've got some people here that have done that. All right, Rob, he's like, it's magic. It is like magic. It's like sorcery. Okay. So as we go a little bit through here, I'm going to be teaching you more and more of this sorcery, more and more of these like arts to doing this ring, like you see in our Secret Society Mastermind all the time. Okay, it's great. And so, yesterday I went through like automation. So when you get those rings, having the automation to kind of deliver everything on the back end is like half of the game in itself. Okay, so if one half of it is obviously generating rings consistently, okay, and then the other half of it is automating the back end process so that you can focus more on developing the actual business. Okay, so that comes a little bit later. I'm not sure where you're at. So what I haven't discussed actually is in our SSM community, there's like a few different levels. Okay. And level 1 is startup level. And level 1 startup is if you've literally got no business, or you've read a bunch of business books or courses and done a heap of like tinkering around with freedom business, but you still haven't really got it going. And so level 1 is anything under 10K per month. All right. If you're in this, you're in level 1. And then if you're doing over 10K a month in sales, they might be a little bit sporadic or whatever, but you're still making 10K per month revenue. This is a revenue number. Then you go into level 2, okay? And level 1 we actually call escape. Level 2 we call evolution, all right? Then from evolution, that's when you really turn on the automatic sales and also automatic delivery process and scale up into level 3. And level 3 is over 50K per month, and generally making around $1 million a year in revenue or more. Okay, so let me know in the chat, which one are you? Are you level 1, are you level 2, or are you level 3? Because it's really important I know who I'm talking to as we move through. And my whole goal here, as you know, is to take you from whatever level you're at now throughout this living course and kind of slam you into the next level, which is what we call a quantum leap. All right, we call that quantum leaping, going from whatever level you're at now and like smashing into the next level. So that's what it's all about. But of course, like we learned, you have to do this thing, okay? Put that little voice of doom on the shelf, okay? Extremely, extremely important. You need to put that voice of doom on the shelf and you need to smash forward, okay? So important, okay? Now, the chosen one. So I've got an eye out here. I've got a little bit of an eye out here for a chosen one. I want this chosen one, okay, to I want to choose this person and I want to give them like the most immersive experience possible. And I really want you to if you are this chosen one, I want to do this quantum leap process for you. And this includes like so much stuff. Okay, so if you're here on the live calls and you're showing up and you're asking questions and you're doing the things that I say, okay, then you're in that position to be able to smash up to the next level via the chosen one. Okay, so for you, okay, I wanted to let you know like just some of the things in each of these calls like that you'll get access to if you are one of these chosen ones. Okay, so the chosen one will get access to our Secret Society Mastermind program. Now that's big enough in itself, right? So we've got the Secret Society Mastermind program. I'm currently actually putting it all into one place because we've got some sites that are all over the place, and we've got training. We've got like 7 years of SSM trainings just all there. that have like just been crazy for all sorts of different people all over the world. And so the secret society level or levels and everything in the secret society, that's what the chosen one will get. So that's the first thing. Now, obviously, we still are open to SSM members being the chosen one. So this is like just one of the little things that you'll be getting if you're one of the chosen ones. And I'll reveal some more a little later. It increases in value with being the chosen one. This is just like the base level thing that you get as being a chosen one. All right. So who's excited about that, and who is like going to attack and pretty much do anything that it takes to become one of the chosen ones? Just let me know in this, or the chosen one. We've only got one, so I literally can't do it with anyone else. So become one of these chosen one. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm pretty excited about it, like having a little protege, the chosen one. So it's great that you're on here and you're getting the vibe for it. So, okay, today's training, all right? Today's training is enormous, all right? It's a really, really important, and it's one little thing that could change your life, okay? Could change your life. It certainly changed mine when I learned this as well from a mentor, okay? So this one, I'm going to talk about a concept called the two forces, okay? The two really important forces that drive your life. So yesterday, we went through the perfect day plan, okay? And I still remember creating one of my perfect day plans. It's so funny. I have to show you this. I'm going to dig up some photos. Actually, there might be some photos on my Facebook page somewhere along the lines there. But I created this like, I had this vision. So this was probably around the time where, you know, I was like chatting to Brian, and I was like trying to figure out, like, this was way back at the start. I'd failed at like the photography Bible ebook plan of doom. And way back at the start, I like built myself this like little vision book. Okay, this little vision book. It was like my first ever vision book. And what I had heaps of like photos of like all the stuff that I wanted to achieve. And I had like, you know, the level of income that I wanted to be getting. And I had like where I was waking up. It was kind of like, it was version 0.1 of this perfect day process before I even knew what the perfect day process was. I'd heard about vision boarding and things like that. So I sat down and created this book. I created it in like the old version of like Photos in Mac. And then I had this little book delivered to me. And I found this book like years later as I was moving house. And like I found it, I can't remember, it was like deep in a bookshelf somewhere, and I pulled it out and I'm like, oh, this old little thing. And I opened it up, and it was like, this whole list of stuff was like I was making X amount of dollars a month, and that was checked off. I was more than doing that. I was in Greece, and like, it's funnily enough, I'd already did 2 trips to Greece and the Greek islands. Like, I had this big photo of like the Greek islands being like the best thing ever. And yeah, I did 2 of those trips, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff in there like that freakishly came true. Okay, and again, I'm gonna have to dig this up because I still have it lying around somewhere. But what's really weird is the process that I had you go through yesterday. Okay, the perfect day thing. It freakishly, like, again, it programs your subconscious to freakishly attract those things that you want in your life. And you might forget about it. So you do the perfect day exercise, and it's totally fine to forget about it. But you've got to make sure you go through it and make it like a very emotional, important experience. And then when you go through it, like, your subconscious registers that and kind of drives you towards it. Now, it sounds freakish, it sounds weird, but yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something that has like actually tested out and worked for me each and every time I do it. And sometimes I forget. It's probably a once every, 3 or 4 years thing that you should do. And it's so funny because, like, SSM, it started like the Secret Society Mastermind community. It started like about 7 years ago or so now. And I've seen like the evolution of the Secret Society Mastermind members, and them like growing into these crazy new versions of themselves. And it's just like, it still blows my mind every single day. Okay. Ebo, my perfect day was actually so much more simple than I thought it'd be. Yeah. It's like, it should be an easy process and an exciting process. So anyway, here's what I'm here to talk to you today about, because like, it's all very well and good to have your perfect day, right? And be like, okay. And then you sort of like, well, how the hell do I drive this thing? How the hell do I like make this thing happen? So I guess the rest of these like live training courses is like purely focused on like you getting that perfect day as fast as possible. All right. So I want to see how fast you can actually do this. All right. So there's two forces at play here. Two very, very, very important forces, okay? And I learned this from one of my mentors here, Dan Sullivan. Who's actually heard of Dan Sullivan or read this book, The Dan Sullivan Question? He's really great. He's got this company called Strategic Coach. So if you're on level 3 or anything like that, I highly recommend going to one of his trainings, or seeing if you can consult with him or do any of that stuff. But this book's pretty cool. Ask It and Transform Anyone's Future. I'm not going to go into in-depth on what this book's all about, but what I've taken is one of his concepts about this like two forces, and I've kind of adapted it based on my freedom business experience, and adapted it for freedom business, like freedom business entrepreneurs, not just like regular entrepreneurs as well. But it applies to both. So I've adapted it from this. If anyone's ever seen this guy, it's cool. Like, I recommend you pick up a book, but you won't like find this in the book or anything like that. So when you go about like achieving your perfect day, so let's actually, before we begin, okay, we need to like have a bit of a reset here, like we did yesterday. So like, because we're here live and we're all hanging out and it's really, really cool, let's share a little breath again together, okay? Like just a collective like reset. So make sure like all your like browser tabs are closed. Make sure all of you've shut all your chat windows down and you're just ready to like go through this, because what's more important than you achieving this perfect day, right? So close all the browser tabs, close all the Skype, close all the bullshit that you know is going to distract you. Throw the phone in the bin, whatever you need to do. Shut the door and let's go. Some people are like tuning in from work or stuff or things like that, but like we'll try and do this here. But let's share a breath together, okay? Like just a collective breath all around the world. Everyone's all here hanging out. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Breathe in and out. All right, one more. 1, 2, 3. In and out. All right, good. Okay, I feel much better and I'm ready to proceed into this and I'm ready to get into this. So the two forces. All right, let's go. So one of these forces is really easy to identify. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel like you have like things in your life, like your day-to-day life, that kind of weigh you down or that annoy the shit out of you? Okay, do you have any of these things? Do you have things that like just get in the way of your perfect day? All right, these weight items, okay? These items that just like kind of really, really kind of like suck, okay? And they suck the life out of you almost. Do you have any of these? I'm curious, before we go any further, what would be like one of your weight items? Okay, like what would be like your biggest weight item right now? The thing that's like kind of just like weighing you down. It can be little, it can be big, it can be anything at all. It's pretty crazy, and yeah, like, there's too many to mention. Like everyone has these things, okay? These weight items, okay? So as an entrepreneur, these are actually really, really bad for you, but they're also bad for the world, because being an entrepreneur, like we're here to put good things into the world. That's what it's all about, okay? Good products and services that people will pay money for, and then that like moves the world forward, okay? So any of this weight stuff needs to be taken really, really seriously, because it's getting in the way of you producing amazing things in the world, okay? So if we look at this, we can categorize some of these items and we can try and like kind of deal with them, all right? We can try and kind of like, shut these weight items off a little bit, or like, deal with them so we can keep moving forward, okay? So it's so funny, like, Craig's got the day job of doom. He's got like client acquisition. He's got people in general. Carl's writing scripts. That's weighing him down. Project management is weighing him down. Miguel's got like just undriven friends. He doesn't have the right environment around him. Peter's like, yes, it's called clients. And I totally get that as well. So I'm going to tell you 3 weight items and weight item categories here now that you need to be on the lookout for. And the first item and the first thing is anything that kind of drains energy. Okay, anything like any activity that drains energy. And these activities can be inside your business and they can be outside your business. They can be internal and they can be external. Okay, so like you mentioned before, there's like friends, there's like, or not friends, there's like activities. This drains energy thing is more focused on activities. So what sort of activities drain energy for you? Like for me, it's like email checking. Okay, email checking just like fucking sucks. Every time it drains my energy. So like when you identify items like this, and there's been periods where I've been really, really good at it and bad at it. But like when I've identified this, I know that I've got my email window, and my email window is like a very small fraction of time that I'm allowed to check email each day. And it's once in the morning and once at night. Generally in the morning though, it's around like 10 or 11 a.m. Like your energy is like such a limited resource, your time and energy. So it needs to be poured into the right things to make them grow, obviously, right? So that's how I protect like my email, and I've protected it in the past. So what are other activities that might drain your energy? Okay, there's so like the list is endless, right? You can think of them quite easily, and when I do this with people, they can generally quickly think of those draining energy tasks. So that's the first thing in the weight category. Okay, anything that kind of drains your energy. All right. Then we've got another category here, things that others do better. Now this one is even more crucial as you become an entrepreneur. So like this is like picture this being a couple of accountants, right? Like I studied accounting, I worked as a trainee, terrible accountant, but like I still don't do any of my accounting and I hate it. It's the biggest weight thing ever. Okay, so it goes to another person. But what about the things that you're kind of on the fence of? So like if you look at inside your business, are there things in there that are like, they're kind of okay things? They're not like great, but they're just okay. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I better do another like ad campaign or something like that. Just like anything that others do better. And here's the thing, you kind of need to keep your ego in check a little bit here. So back when I was doing the sales videos thing, it's such a good example because it kind of illustrates the point, is like I spent way too long doing all the delivery stuff. Like I spent days and days and days. And the reason is I grew up with a family that said like kind of a good day's work for a good day's pay. And what that meant was like you go to work and you put in a good day's work in order to deserve a good day's pay. Okay. And that programming, that little like thing that I grew up with really held me back for a long time. And that little thing and the fact was that those components of my business, others do better. So the business wasn't going to grow. It wasn't going to hire more staff and employ more people and be better for the economy and be better for the world overall, unless I could hand off the things that others do better. Okay. Now, what's really, really, really interesting is like, as we can see here in the chat, some people's stuff is really some people really enjoy certain aspects of their business. Like I know Carl, for example, he's really great at the design stuff. Like he's got the eye for the design, he loves it, all those things. But for another person, they hate the design aspect and they just want to get it done by someone, okay? So this is an important weight category, like inside and outside your life. What about things like house cleaning, okay? What about cleaning the house? What about doing the laundry? What about any of these low value activities? Okay, as I sit here now in beautiful Bali, I'm in like what could be classed a like 4-star hotel, and it is $35 a night to basically live here. And someone comes in, they clean up the entire place every single day, they make my bed fresh every single day, and it's like magic, and I don't even have to think about it. Okay, it's crazy. Or when home, clean it comes, does it all, and you don't even have to think about it because it's such like it's activities that aren't adding any value. They're just adding weight. Okay, so very, very interesting, and that could be something to look forward to as well with your freedom business. Is as you grow and as it gets better and better, you can actually start adding more of these things. You can start adding more of these people to take care of stuff. Okay, and stuff that others actually do better. All right, so others do better goes in the weight category. Okay, really, really important. All right, the next one. Okay. Anyone resonate with this? Okay. Anyone resonate with this? All right. Relationships that drain. Okay. Relationships that absolutely drain you. Okay. We all have this. Okay. And I remember I had this one friend that I'd meet up with for coffee quite regularly, actually. And we'd meet up and we'd chat. But like, even before getting in the car and driving over to the cafe, I kind of had this uneasy feeling that I wouldn't enjoy it. Like, it's not something that you may even be consciously aware of. It's just like, this person like like when you hang out with this person, they just don't give you a positive energy. You walk away feeling more drained and sapped than you do if you didn't hang out with them at all. Okay. So I had this one friend and like, he was a really nice guy. And like, I really like, I respect him. I respect what he does in the world and all these things. But like every time I'd hang out with him, the discussions would always lead to like, him saying like, oh, I'm really unhappy with this. Or like, he had this vibe about him that life was like this drain and this drudgery and like all this stuff. And this is like poison, okay? Because I don't know if you're like me, like I see everyone as an equal. Okay, everyone, every single, because we're all made out of the same stuff. Okay, but when someone like that I hang out with, when they start saying things like, oh, money's really hard to come by, and oh damn, like I've got to go and do this and do that, and like and starts using language like, oh, I guess I better do this, and like is just really like carrying too much weight in their life, and they don't kind of like. They don't bring any like positivity. They just sap it. Then it's really tough. And so I had to actually cut off the relationship with this person. Like I literally said to myself, look, I'm spending time and I'm also spending energy, and I leave this person and on a consistent basis. I mean, you still want to be a good friend because people like. There's people that like just have bad days or bad weeks or bad months, and that's fine. You got to be there for them as a friend. But this particular person, it was consistent over a long period of time, and so I just had to end that. Okay, and or like it's tough. I mean, if it's family or something like that, like I'm by no means fantastic at this stuff at all, but it's just good to become aware of it so you can kind of like if you do have to hang out with these people at any stage. You can just kind of like insulate yourself a little bit or prepare for it or whatever it is. I mean, it's going to happen, but this is the thing. Okay. So very, very important. All right. So who recognizes this list of stuff? And I know it feels a little bit like, right? But like when you start listing this stuff and when you start like noting this stuff and when you look at it really objectively, you can then start to like build the life around eliminating or getting rid of these things. And you can do it actively. And I'm going to show you a process. I'm going to show you exactly how I do this on a kind of month to month, usually like 90-day period. Okay. So who finds this useful anyway, just to explore this stuff? Because like this stuff is the stuff that's going to actually hold you back from making those rings, from going from level 1 to level 2, from level 2 to level 3. These are the things. There's things in these categories that are actually holding you in this holding you where you're at right now. Okay, so that's that side of things. Okay, very important. Then we've got the other side of the game. Okay, energy. All right. So there's the weight items. Then there's like the energy items. All right. Now this is where things get exciting. All right, and this is really cool, and I love exploring this. Like for example, you may feel energy, doing this. Okay, and like. Getting the mentorship and help that you need directly from someone who's walked the path and who's actually able to translate it into actionable things for you to go and get the same result too. Like that's so energizing. I actually have like 2 major mentors right now that I have on a regular basis. Like it never ends. Okay, these 2 mentors, they are the ones that keep me aligned on these 2 things. Okay, and so like the energy items. Okay, let's list these off, and there's 3 categories. Okay, the next thing. So these energy things are things like this category: sparks joy. Okay, now this chick here, her name's Marie Kondo, and I don't know whether you've seen. She's got this like series on Netflix that my wife Kayla absolutely loves, and my wife's like an amazing like organizer, and she keeps like things really under control already. Like she's phenomenal. Okay, she's like just an amazing executor. She's amazing at like just a lot of stuff. But like Marie, she wrote this book called the Magic of Tidying Up, or something like that. You don't really need to read the book, because the whole concept around the book is only having things in your life that sparks joy, okay? That really gives you that like inner shift. And this is the other cool thing. For like your like sparks joy items are very different to like my sparks joy items, okay? And everyone else's sparks joy items. We might have similar ones, but you have your items. You also have your activities that spark joy. Now, one of the things we actually do in SSM, and one of the things that we encourage, is that like when you make a major milestone in your business, so for example, if you have a great little ring in your business, what you should do is you should go out and take a portion of that money, okay, and spend it on something just something ridiculous, like something that like really sparks joy to you. I remember like one of these items, and it's funny that I remember this item. It can be expensive or it can be non-expensive, right? Like, you know, I bought really expensive cars before and things like that really spark joy for me as well. But however, like this one, I remember it was like a silly little like alarm clock. Okay, this like I made a sale in one of my businesses. It was actually the marketing business, so I knew like landing page or home page design, copy, and all those came through. And like I was like, you know what? The other day I saw this like cool little manual alarm clock in the store, right? It was just this like little wind up alarm clock, and I was like, I just really wanted that thing and I liked it, okay? But I sort of walked past it, and then for whatever reason I knew I had to reward myself for like getting the ring. So I just went and bought that little alarm clock. So I put it in my like beside my bed, and I woke up, and like what I didn't realize was this silly little alarm clock, okay? Every time I looked at it, I got the feeling of that ring again. Okay, I got that feeling of like, rad. Okay, like cool. You know, I made money come in out of thin air to be able to buy this silly little thing. Okay, and it really it kept sparking me. Okay, I don't know where it's gone now, it's lost. But this is a process that is built into myself, and it's a process we encourage in SSM, where if you have a win that's on the path, on the perfect day path, and you've hit a major milestone, like go and treat yourself and anchor that feeling that like it's all about abundance, right? You can make these, like you can, when you've got the skill set, okay, you can, you know, just like literally make money come in on command, okay? But that sounds all well and good, but it's about the things that you can do with it. And you need to like teach yourself and train yourself, especially the subconscious mind, which has all these hang-ups about, you know, finances and money itself as it is. You need to train yourself that, hey, it's actually okay. I can go blow some money on this like silly little thing, or do this little thing because I had my little win, okay? So like, I don't know what some of the things are for you. Like travel is like a lot of those things that spark joy for a lot of people. Eating good food is a big one. From Julian there. Carl's like bintang. So that's great. That's really, really good. So anything that sparks joy. Now, let's think about another thing, okay? Let's think about something else. What about like activities in your life, all right? So we've got lifting weights. We've got like courses, Twitch donations to see reactions. Like these are like things that, you know, what are the activities, okay? Like specifically, what are the activities in your business that spark joy? Now, I don't know if you can tell right now, but this is this is as much for me as it is for you. This activity here right now actually sparks joy for me. Like it's the next best thing for me doing the live event stuff, okay, or the consulting stuff. So if I'm like one-on-one with a client, or like I'm consulting a small group, that also is a massive spark joy for me, because I can see the progress, I can see the success, and it's just a great thing. Like I naturally get energy from that thing. Okay, so it's really, really cool. It's really, really cool. So what activities in the business like spark joy for you? Like for Carl, it is the graphic design stuff, right? So you need to be aware of these so you can do more of those things for the greater good of the system, not just your business system, but like the system overall. See, like if we want to get even deeper on all this stuff, like I believe like we all have this like inner wiring that's like that's like set, okay? And certain things spark joy and certain things give weight or drain energy, okay? And everyone's like wiring is different. And I feel like on some level, we're all built for like the purpose of like doing more of those like energy things, okay? And like not more of those like weight things. And like the universe kind of gives you this natural like guidance system. I don't know, it sounds really weird, and like I haven't really gone deep in that stuff that much, but like after seeing quantum leaps in myself, in other people, like I feel like we're onto something with that. So anyway, okay, let's continue the energy categories, right? Any activities that spark joy, all right? Cool. Let's go to the next one, all right? The next one here is anything that produces growth, okay? Whether it's external growth or internal growth. So external growth, like any activities, like let's put down any activities that like contribute to your income, all right? Directly contribute. So like anything that kind of like makes that happen is like energy building activities. Now, it may not be energy building in the start, okay? So like, for example, I always advise that you take control of your own marketing. You never like give your marketing to someone else, which is what a lot of people try to do. Like, I'm good at the delivery phase. Like, I'm really good at the making the widget. So I want to be the best at making the widget, okay? So like, there's a lot of people like that, okay, with a lot of great technical skill. And when they go to become an entrepreneur, they don't like enjoy the money making side, and then so they give the marketing to someone else, and that's really dangerous because you want to be the one in control of that income generation. Okay, so that makes sense. So like, for example, copywriting, you may be like terrible at copywriting. Lucky there's like a process and some hacks that you can go through, and I've got like all these templates that I use personally to like really fast like headlines, bullet points, copy, all that stuff. But like, you know, you may not particularly enjoy that activity straight away, but you know it directly links to the growth production, okay? And you know also, like I discussed yesterday, that you might be putting this in a procedure and a process that can be given off to someone. So in the early days of your freedom business, if you're on level 1, then you're going to need to do a lot of these like activities yourself before they get shot and handed to someone else, okay? So that's what it's all about, okay? Produces growth activities, all right? So anything that produces growth goes in that like little energy bucket, all right? Cool. So this next one also extremely, extremely important, all right? Anything that grows confidence, okay, can give you that energy boost, all right? And you know the feeling I'm talking about, right? Like picture a situation that really like gave you a lot of confidence in your life, okay? Like just any situation. For me, it was this time that I'll never forget. It was like well before SSM time, and when I just sort of kicked off the One Key Fan business, and I walked into this like giant building, okay? It was down in South Yarra, which is an area of Melbourne, and it's one of the tallest buildings there in South Yarra. And I walk in, and I go up the elevator because I'd landed a meeting with this firm, this pretty crazy firm, and they had heaps of staff and heaps of people. And here I go, I walk in. Lucky I wore a bit of a suit this time because what I was selling was actually really expensive. And I walk in and I expected to just be meeting that one person I was talking to. But I wasn't meeting that one person I was talking to. I was meeting all her bosses, these directors. So it was her and 3 other people that I had to sit in front of. And it was like super intimidating. So they were like firing like these corporate questions at me. And this is really interesting because like a lot of the questions they had around my product were quite technical. And I had no idea, all right? So it was a web-based product that they needed built. And it was quite like, it was quite intense. So at the time, it was like me, it was like a graphic designer, a web developer, a video production person, and like another programmer. So they were the people on my team that were nailing through the projects. Okay, all outsourced team. Okay, and so they're firing questions at me, and like about 80% of them I had no idea. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to talk to my this is the language that I use. I'm gonna have to talk to my lead programmer on this because I see that you want this, and I'm like repeating back exactly what they want, even though I had no idea like some of the language and stuff. I'm repeating back like there's this, and then there's this that you want. Okay, interesting. All right, so look, I'm not really sure. But let me talk to the programmer and I'll get right back to you straight away. But I'm fairly confident that we can push that through for you. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, no worries. And then so they're grilling me the questions. And like what I noticed in one of these meetings, and I don't know whether you guys do live meetings, but this is actually like an energy boost item for me. I love live. Okay, I'm that external type of person. And you don't have to be that, all right? There's no right or wrong in any of this game, okay? Other things might suit you in your freedom business, but this is one of the activities that really give me like a boost, is this face-to-face stuff, whether it's one-on-1, 1-on-4, or 1-on-50. It's just like the best, okay? So I'm sitting there, and again, like, I'm not very confident. I was actually really, really nervous going in, as you can imagine, right? Like going up this elevator, being shown through this like crazy corporate office, into the boardroom, into the actual founder and like other like majority people. It was crazy. So like I'm going through it, but what I noticed was like I was just asking questions most of the time because I didn't know what the fuck they wanted. So like I had to like gather what they wanted by like everything that they were saying. So like they were saying they wanted this, they wanted that, and I was like writing these things down and like making mental notes. I'm like, okay, so you want this to do this. Okay, cool. Because I'm a very visual person. So I was able to describe it like really visually to them. And they're like, and what you've probably noticed as well is I break like big concepts down into like really easy to understand chunks. So I was able to do, and this was, I guess, maybe a natural ability, but like I did this with them. And I'm like, okay, so you want this, you want that, you want this thing here. And, they're like, yeah, oh yeah, that's exactly what we want. And like I was using no like corporate speak. Some of the corporate speak, I just had no idea what they were talking about. And at the end of the day, you can probably guess what happened is they said, how much would this cost? And to put something together like this. I'm like, well, looking at the project, look, to be honest, I can't give you a fair estimate because, again, I have to talk to the programmer. There's probably a lot of hours for our team on this. And so, yeah, let me get back to you on that. But I think roughly, it's probably roughly going to be around, and I honestly, I forget what figure I quoted, but it was around like, I said, it's probably around around the 20,000 mark, something like that. But again, I have to reconfirm, you guys understand. And they looked at each other and they just go, oh yeah, cool, no problem. Yeah, no worries. And they almost looked like they were ready to like rush out of there and like go and do the more important shit they had to do, because like if it was going to be like 50K, 100K or something like that, that's when like they would have to do some hardcore negotiating. So like it was crazy. So like I got back in like the elevator with like the woman that actually booked me for this project. I walked back in the elevator and with her, and she's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to work with you. And I'm like playing it cool. I'm just like, yeah, it should be a good project. Our team will really enjoy doing this with you and myself. I'll obviously drive it and be in constant contact, so no problem. We get to the bottom, elevator opens. She's like, see you, Tim, like catch you later. walk out and I'm just like, shit, yes. Okay. I'm like, hell yeah. Okay. Like, just like you can imagine how I felt, right? And the first phone call I made after making that sale was to my dad, right? I called him up like, yeah, because they always worry, right? Freedom business, especially in the early days, they were worried about what I was doing and worried if I was like, just like doing crazy stuff. So I like call up and it's cool. It's cool, these little milestones, right? So the bad part was like I didn't charge like a shitload, but I certainly could have. So like for you, any activity, like so for me, that activity grows confidence. Although I was looking down that dark tunnel of doom again, and I was really uncertain and really scared. Imagine if it went the other way. Imagine if they like kind of found me out, all right, and like said, no, you can't do this, you suck, which is what like you think going in, right? I don't know, has anyone ever had this experience? Okay, has anyone ever had the experience of like doing a phone call with a potential client, or like, you know, going to a meeting with a potential client and having that feeling where like you're an imposter? Okay, now a good thing about this is like there's a whole book dedicated to this called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And he has this thing in there called the imposter syndrome. And everyone has this. You have it, I have it, everyone has it. So no matter what value you can bring to the table, and maybe it's like astronomical to another person or another company or like whatever it is that you're selling, you always have this hidden fear that it's not good enough, or your product's not good enough, or you're not good enough, or any of these things. So when you've got this imposter syndrome, it makes it really tough. And it's also something that can cripple you and hold you back. And so like, especially as you're going through all of these phases, and like, let me just tell you now, this syndrome and this thing doesn't go away. No matter how many levels you climb, no matter how many mountains you get to, the imposter syndrome will always be there. It's something that you need to learn to live with. But again, what we're doing here is we're like eliminating the weight items and like pushing towards those energy items. And when you've got that energy, then it can carry you through those dark tunnels, okay? You can make the next step and light up the next step in the path. And when you do this, okay, that's when you get the boost. That's when you get the confidence. That's when your confidence grows. Now, I really like this picture on the screen because it really says like, okay, maybe you feel like a pawn, but everyone else around you actually pictures you as a king, okay? You may not even know that. And the king's image and the king's like, I guess, marketing, it can be engineered. So this stuff's kind of deep, all right? And this is the stuff that I've picked up along the way. And this is the stuff I kind of want to download to you as well, all right? I want you to like have that ability so that even if inside you feel a bit like the pawn, the shittier like chessboard piece, that you can approach the world as the king and get treated as the king, and therefore attract the things that the king attracts, okay? How does that sound? All right, this is this is kind of what we're here to do, all right? So this is what this session's dedicated for. All right, so if we have a look here, okay, anything in the weight category, all right? Anything in the weight category that drains energy, all right? Anything that others do better, any nowhere relationships like that you just know. And like, it's so funny, right? Like when I say these things, when I ask you, hey, what do you think drains your energy? Like, I'm sure that you can like, you know, like picture or think of like immediately like 3 or 4 things, or other things in your life that others actually do better, you know? And what about nowhere relationships? Like things that like, it's just not keeping you on your perfect day path, right? That's all weight stuff. And then you've got energy, okay? Anything that like kind of sparks joy, all right? Anything that sparks joy, any activity, like, you know, any sort of like, you know, I've got audio programs that I listen to when I walk around and they like spark joy and excitement. I've got music that I listen to. You know, when I actually, funnily enough, when I'm like chatting on the phone, like I was last night with like a mentor, like, you know, their experience, and they're a lot older than me too, which is another big thing as well. Their experience kind of like just shines through and just sparks joy. And yeah, so anything sparks joy, produces growth, anything that grows confidence, those things. I'm sure you could like list a bunch of those for each thing, right? So the whole goal with this, okay, obviously is engineering a quantum leap, all right? Engineering a quantum leap for you. And the way to do it, okay, the way we can do it together is what you want to do is you want to eliminate, okay, every day you want to eliminate, every 90 days, you want to eliminate 3 weight items and boost 3 energy items. So you take the 3 kind of like biggest weight items and you use the next 90 days to eliminate 3 of them. Just like completely eliminate them from your life. And some might take like 5 minutes, some might take 5 days, some might take a lot longer to eliminate, all right? So, day job of doom, 90 days. If you said, look, I don't want this day job of doom anymore. It's the biggest thing that is the weight, okay, in my life, okay? I've got 90 days to eliminate it, all right? Now we start making better decisions. Now we start thinking, okay, that's it. I'm setting my 90-day goal. This is it. It gets eliminated because it drains energy. Others do it better. Nowhere relationships. And the crazy thing is, how do you think it feels when you eliminate the need for like the income? You know what I mean? From a day job of doom or anything secure. And you've got like a secure freedom business set up that's like pouring the income in for you. What does that do? Of course, it sparks energy, all right? So what happens is when you actually eliminate a weight item, it actually gives you like an almost a 2x energy boost, all right? Which then generates momentum, all right? So this is how we quantum leap, all right? Or this is one of the ways we achieve like that quantum leap, all right? Now, I keep referring to this quantum leap, and what is it? It actually has 3 components, all right? It actually has 3 really important components. I haven't even gone into the components yet. That's coming later. But at a core level, this particular process is how it's done, all right? So would you guys like to see exactly how I apply this to my own life, like now, like today, like how I do this every day, the things that I focus on, and the stuff that I like to do to make sure that my weight items are getting eliminated and my energy items are getting boosted? Who'd like to see that? Yeah, cool, right? Let's go into this. I can't believe it. Rob eliminated his girlfriend. All right, so let me know here, all right? So here we are. We're at Google, all right? Whatever with Google. Google's like remember what we did at the start, okay? Remember how I said like Google is our like, almost like, the fact that we can sit here and type into Google, or the fact that millions and trillions of people are all over the world are typing stuff into Google, like how to get like, what do we got here? How to get rid of bloating, okay? What do we got here? Be interesting to see if there's any ads around this stuff. I'm very surprised there wasn't some more like ads around that, or like how to detox. Let's see if we've got ads around that. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, maybe I'm blocking some ads actually, to be honest. Anyway, it's just interesting that we've got this ability. Like the dummy flight tickets thing, that was pretty cool. Like people are searching this stuff, and then look, click, bang, green rivers flowing. If you haven't seen it yet, go back to like episode 1. Here's another example. But if you haven't seen it yet, go back to session 1, because I explained why this is like an example of a freedom business. Anyway, let's see how I eliminate and do my weight items. So this is a product called Airtable, okay? So Tim Quantum Energy. Now everything goes into here, all right? All my like items go into here, but here's how I do it. Airtable allows you to build like these things called, forms, right? So I have this form, and this form is like on my phone. It's like, it's on like my computer. It's everywhere that I am basically. So anytime like a life item comes across, or like something registers in my world as like a life item, I kind of put it in here. And the goal is to increase 3 energy items and eliminate 3 weight items, okay, every 90 days. So you end up only doing things that spark joy, electricity, and energy in life. And you get to wake up like a kid at Christmas each day. Now, let me ask you this. Like, have you ever had a time in your life, not that wasn't Christmas, okay, that you woke up and like you were like, yes, like I can't wait to start today? Like, have you had like a series of that? Maybe you're on a vacation, maybe like you woke up and you were going on a trip somewhere, and you know that feeling like when you jump in the car and you're getting driven to the airport, and you're like on and this is one of them for me, but like, and you're on like a business or a first class flight, and you walk up and you get to walk all the way past all that big line of doom, the wait, right? And you go right up to the counter, and they've got a huge smile because you're a business or a first class passenger. They're like, hey, welcome. Oh, come right through. And it's usually like a special door, especially with first class on Qantas. Like, it's like this other door that you go into at Melbourne Airport, and they like try and hide you and keep you away from like everyone else. And it's like ridiculous, right? Like, you guys know now where I've come from, and like to be treated like that is like a really, really weird experience. So like, but that though, like imagine that for you. Like you go through, that you check in, and they're like, oh, Mr. Richardson, oh, it's been like a few weeks since your last trip. How was it? Blah, blah, blah. And then they like fast track you through all the crap, okay? That's such a wait item. Like the fucking airport lines of disaster, like you can feel the misery on everyone. It just sucks. But anyway, so like you check in, you go to the lounge, you know, they're like, there's like food and like all this, and like when you're in areas like that, like airport lounges, like that's a totally different vibe. That's a totally different energy. You're around people that attract money. You're around those like kings. You're around people that like naturally do this stuff and have a lot of experience and things like that. And you know what's really funny is that like airport lounges are some of the like best ways that I've made like business connections. And while I think of it actually, which is really funny, it's a total tangent here, but Neil Patel, who actually spoke at one of our events, Neil wrote this post called Spent Money on Clothes, Neil Patel. All right, so yeah, Neil spoke at our Vegas event quite a couple of years ago, actually. He's a really nice guy and knows a lot about marketing. So he wrote this article called How Spending $162,301 on Clothes Made Me $692,500. And it's kind of like, oh, that's retarded. Like, that's stupid, right? Why would you spend all that money on clothing? But the truth of the matter is, like, how you dress or how you approach or how you kind of present yourself to the world, okay? This is like what I was talking about with that king thing, right? How you present yourself, like subconsciously, all of us as humans, whether you like it or not, or whether you are in touch with your ego or not, we like instantly judge people in like a snap second. So if you walk into a room, and I noticed this big time when I was doing the dating thing and running around the world. So if you walk into a bar or a nightclub, like, and people kind of look at you, like there's like a split second where they like set you in the hierarchy. Okay, it's crazy, right? Like nightclubs are like mini ecosystems of the world, but like a crazier enhanced version of them. That's why I really like them, by the way, is because like, and I was very intimidated and scared by nightclubs way back when, like really scared. But like I just forced myself to go to them because they're like, you know, again, they're like a playground of doom and like, or doom or destiny. And like, so you walk in and like, even if it's a bar, like a high class bar. So I don't really do nightclubs these days. There's a lot of like high class bars and things that I go to now. So you walk in and like, you do this naturally too. You look at the person and like, there's this instant thing where like, you just go bang. Okay. Like, and you know where that person sits in the hierarchy. So you see what sort of like, and it's just like an overall picture, okay? So Neil Patel, it was interesting. I read this and I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me. He like spent all this money on dressing himself up and getting like better clothes. Like this guy did it as well. Like this guy. So you see this guy walk into the bar, like Mike, right? And you're just like, okay, regular dude, cool. He'd be fun to have a beer with. But then like this guy walks into the bar, right? You're like, oh, holy shit, what is this guy doing? Do you know what I mean? So it's like funny because some people like, and if we have a look at, and it's cool that we get to go deep here on these calls, but like if we have a look at the Timothy Marc site, okay, people are like, so Tim, like you're completely free and freedom businessman. Like, why do you even worry about like doing a suit and stuff like that? You know, some clients, actually some very, very, very high-end clients, I have meetings like this, okay, and By the way, I like this suit because it was the suit out of one of the Bond films, James Bond films. So this was like one of those purchases that I made. Like, you know, remember the little alarm clock purchase? Well, this, like walking into Tom Ford and getting a Tom Ford like suit that was in the Bond movie was one of those little like items of like, hell yeah, right? Like, can you imagine that? So anyway, like this is, if you want to look deeper at the reasons why things happen and why we do things. So like for this page, for example, I can almost email anyone on the planet and be able to talk to them. If they come to this page and they watch this video, then like it's like oh shit, Tim is this in the hierarchy, okay? And it's quite crazy and quite deep, but like, you know, it's how the world works. So it's either like, hey, no, I'm more comfortable in this. And I'm not saying, guys, I'm not saying that you have to go and dress like a fucking Tom Ford suit. You definitely don't. There's plenty of rich guys out there, and I know a lot of them that are like hoodies and sweatshirts type guy. But what they may have like a really expensive watch, okay, or something like that, because it's that sub-communication thing, which is crazy. And not many people get this stuff, all right? Not many people understand this stuff. So anyway, this guy went out and spent a heap of clothes and whatever, bought the expensive car, whatever. And it was just like, you know, think about the Ty Lopez effect, okay? And you can either love him or hate him or whatever. I respect the dude because like going out there and like, here's my Lamborghini. He understands that sub-communication thing. He understands that like he would get no like love, respect or attention if he just went, here I am in my like shitty place with like shitty clothes on. I'm a fun guy with like who would be good to have a beer with and like probably good to chill with, but like that's not going to get me any attention. So he understands how the world really works and understands that we need to use these like psychological triggers and elements in order to do the things and get the things that we need. So if you're on the light side of the force, which I assume you are if you've been following me, you use these things as tools. You use these things as tools for you to build a better business, to attract better customers, and to do better things in the world. That's what it's all about. But you can't do this unless you understand the game, okay? So this is one of the elements of the game. So if you don't do it personally, and you don't personally like pimp out this sort of stuff, then like, you know, you can at least make sure that your brand is the Ferrari and not the Ford. Okay, any brand that you put out there, it needs to be the Ferrari. Okay, now if you were to answer me honestly, the stuff that you've been producing, if you've made landing pages, if you've done a business, if you've done a product, okay, have you actually like honestly produced something that's a Ferrari, that cuts through, that commands people's attention, that actually like people go, oh shit, in the hierarchy of all the other businesses, you sit up here. Now, the cool thing is, like, and this is more secret society stuff, even more so than secret society stuff, I guess. This is the sort of stuff that I do with like my like really private clients. I lead them through these types of processes. But generally they've got like much bigger businesses and making more sales. So anyway, like this is the sort of stuff that like leads you to, you know, like to like this is what sets you apart, because whatever you do, like say you're doing the dummy flight ticket business, okay? Say you were doing that. Like let's just look at that as like an example here. Dummy flight tickets, okay? Dummy flight tickets. So let's like open up a bunch of these, and you probably already looked at them if you were here on the other flight. So instantly, here's what people do when they go to a website, and when they go to your website, they go, oh, like, is this what I want, and is this trustworthy? Okay, so these guys have already failed a little bit, in my opinion, because like it's really unclear. The headline is right down here, and like it's just this. They're probably still doing well because like, you know, they're giving what people need, but like this is a poor landing page experience, and this looks kind of like a really shitty design that someone did on Fiverr. Okay. But it doesn't matter. It probably still makes money. But anyway, here's what people do. They open the first one, then they open the second one. And okay, so this one actually like hits my hits my triggers way better. Okay, why does it hit my triggers way better in terms of like trust and in terms of like this is like a better website? Well, the headline is really clear. Flight reservations for visa applications, okay, starting at $15. Okay, so I understand everything. Like everything's great. Okay, so book now. There's also a little chat thing. They're offline, but it also says like, you know, even though there is this little chat thing, that's fine. That's really good. Then they've got samples. Okay, samples show that they've actually done what they're saying that they do. So in an instant, I already know that this is one to keep, and this one looks kind of like rubbish, so I close that one down. And they have things like testimonials written up here. So in an instant, I can look at this site and I know they've got testimonials. I know that they've got samples. I know that they've got some form of like chat or like support experience. Okay, so these guys hit, like I'm staying with these guys. And then there's this one, all right? This is some like crazy travel site that's like, that's trying to use those keywords. So that one goes. So then I come back to this one and I start exploring, I start scrolling. Okay, like, okay, cool, how this works, cool. Okay, pricing and packages, okay, cool. Insurance, interesting. And then testimonials, great. All right, so there's some things that we can improve there. And again, I'll do some landing page stuff with you guys later. But that's like, you do this process, everyone does this process, and we do it in real life, and we do it online as well. So understanding the in real life is just as important as understanding the online communication. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay, like let's close this down and let's keep going through the experience that I was talking about. So back to this, all right, waking up like a kid at Christmas each and every day. So you walk through the airport, you check in, and you like that feeling, those things that you get like from Spark Joy experiences. That's what we want. We want to eliminate all the weight stuff so that you get to wake up with that spark, electricity, and joy every single day, okay? And it's so funny because like I know a lot of guys that have this, and I have this. I wake up, I've got that energy, I've got that electricity. I mean, not every day. Some days I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I'm just tired or whatever. But like on most days, this is like, it's like kid at Christmas. And you know, we joke around in SSM. We say like every day is a Saturday. Okay, every day is a Saturday because you know, like you don't like there's no days. All right, you don't have to go to work on Monday. All right, you can work on Saturday if you want. All right, crazy. So this is a new life item. All right, so goal to increase 3 energy and decrease 3 weight. So I come in here and I put the item. So let's just say I put that Antares project. It's been going on for a while now, and that takes up most of my time. So we're building like some really good shit right now. Just so super stoked. Anyway, is it an energy or a weight option? So I get to like choose here. So it's actually energy. Is it personal or business? It's business. Okay, categories. So now I get to add my categories that I just talked to you about. So it sparks joy. Okay. It grows confidence in me, and it like what else has it got? That's it. Okay, so that's some categories that I've added there. All right, how important is it to my overall mission in life? And you can liken your mission to perfect day. Okay, your mission is your perfect day. That's your mission. That's your one and only mission, for you to live your perfect day every single day. So how important is this to my mission? Well, it's actually very high. Okay, I don't necessarily need it to live my perfect day, but like it's very critical to my mission in that like I want to produce this in the world. Okay, so I put it as very high. Now the impact on energy. So this is like as I do this thing, what's the impact on my energy levels? Well, for me, as I go through it, it's really high. Okay, there's some things because we're in like it's taking a lot of energy and a lot of effort and a lot of team coordination and things like that. It's like its impact is quite high. And now, how difficult is it to boost or eliminate? This one's important. So it's actually extremely hard. All right, it's extremely hard to like do this thing. All right, so I'm just going to put it in difficulty there, extremely hard. So then you can put some notes, you can put attachments, files, whatever, and then you just hit submit, and then it goes straight into your life items. All right, so here's how mine look. All right. And this is a copy. This is not how they really look. This one was This is like a dummy version or something like that. But let's just take it as like is pretty interesting. So they all get put in here as like a table, which isn't very cool or isn't very interesting, and just like, yeah, it's like whatever. So if I go here though and I go priority order, what Airtable allows me to do, it allows me to like put like which things I should put at the top of my list. Okay, which things I should put at the top of my list that like personal and business that give me that energy and that like should get my attention more. All right, so personal, funnily enough, Kayla. All right, top of my list. What did I put for her? Energy, critical to the mission, and extreme impact on energy and difficulty to boost or eliminate. Let's just keep that at mild. TFA is actually a name for our friendship group, like my close group of mates back home in Australia. And they give me a lot of high energy and everything too. So that's like some personal stuff. But let's like look at some weight stuff, all right? So what drains energy for me? Like I'm a sucker for Reddit. So a long time ago, I actually deleted Instagram, I deleted Facebook, I deleted all of that shit off my phone because I don't know about you, but like that stuff is just a full energy drain, okay? But Reddit was like my guilty pleasure. I would like, read Reddit on the toilet or whatever, okay? But it just had to go, okay? It was not important to the mission, had neutral impact on energy, and it was difficult, it was easy to eliminate, so I just deleted it. By the way, if you want a better experience on your phone, grab this browser called Firefox Focus. Firefox Focus, it's actually like what it is as soon as you open it, okay, it's like a blank screen like this. And it doesn't house any passwords. It doesn't house any like anything at all. Like you have to actually. So if you want it, if I wanted to go on Instagram, I have to click this app. I have to type INSTA. Like I have to type the whole thing in. Then I have to log in, and like it's this whole. There's like barriers for me to get on Instagram or Facebook or any of that shit. So all that auto stuff on your phone needs to be eliminated. Like I've got it so that Safari cannot even be like put on the phone. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's gone. It's deleted off the phone, and I can only use Firefox Focus. And so when you close Firefox Focus, it actually deletes everything too. And it blocks like ads. It does everything, okay? It's like simple. It's like instantly erased, and it's rad. So get on it. So if we have a look here, Reddit, that like drains energy, had to get eliminated. Okay, TV, all right. I don't watch actually zero TV while I'm out here in Bali. But I do watch a little bit at home. Look, you don't have to be like crazy about it. Like if you watch like some cool show that like gives you energy, like I like the TV show Billions a lot. So I watch that like when it comes out each week, and I enjoy it. All right, so that's cool. Like so any of this stuff, like don't be so like I see a lot of people being like too down on themselves and too hard on themselves on these items because they may give you a little bit of energy. Okay, like going out and getting drunk with my friends, that might happen like once every 6 months now. So like if you're a 22-year-old or you're a 21-year-old building a freedom business, and you like going out and you like and you like a couple of drinks without going too crazy, then just fucking do it. Like don't be too hard on yourself with it. If it doesn't like drain your energy enough that it pulls you away from other things, then just like you've got permission to just do it, right? Like but if you're like someone that's like older or like it doesn't offer any value to you, then like eliminate it. Okay, there's no hard and fast rule with this. Because I believe that hard and fast rules, and I made this mistake with a lot of things. I took a lot of what I read, as you know, as like pure gospel. So I would read something from like someone, and it'd say, do this, 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 and this, and like keto diet, paleo diet, and all this stuff, and like do not eat this. And I would do that, and I would do it for like 6 months, and I would be so rigid on it that what would end up happening is like, say if I was like so focused on my diet, like crazy, okay, and I didn't 80-20 it, like 80% spot on, 20% like a little bit shitty. If I did it like 100%, then it would drain my energy for everything else in my life. So I'd end up becoming like, like gym man and eat man and macro tracking man, instead of being like enjoy life man and like have like 80% spot on, and then 20%, hey, have a couple of beers with your friends, or like enjoy like a good meal, or like if you go to someone's birthday party, eat the fucking cake. All right, like no one wants to be around you if you like don't enjoy like things that are here in our life to enjoy. Okay, so it's not gonna make you, it's not gonna like kill you, it's not gonna like, yeah. So I wish I had someone tell me that back in the day. All right, so anyway, there's some items. All right, so I've even got cities in here, like cities that give me energy and stuff like that. But let's go down to business, because that's quite interesting. So business items that give me energy, okay? Or actually, maybe it's up here. Business, no, that's still personal. So business items that give me energy are things like meeting boss, freedom entrepreneurs. I still love that. I still do that. And I still get a lot of confidence and a lot of excitement out of that. Live events, confidence, people related, produces growth. Antari, same thing. Business strategy and architecture, that's huge for me in terms of like produces growth. Client success, okay, the focus on that gives me so much energy, it's crazy. Quantum business launches, which is related to Antares. Secret Society Mastermind, copywriting, comment, replies, and interaction. That can actually give me a lot of energy as well, but I have to structure it properly where I don't go down the rabbit hole. And branding strategy is one of my things that's key for me as well. Okay, so let's look at the weight items that others do better. Graphic design, okay, web development, ad account management, accounting and bookkeeping. So like, because this separates them all in like priority order, okay, what happens is like, I know which ones to eliminate, and like, I've already had team for all these things. These are just examples to relate for you. I know, so say this was your table, you know that the first element that you should like outsource is your graphic design, okay? Because you've gone through and you've put all these like, this does the analysis for you and tells you which things to focus on first, all right? Pretty crazy, hey? This is a great way to like organize your mind a little bit, I guess, all right? So very, very cool and very, very fun. And like, how crucial do you think this is? How important do you think this is? And some people are getting like a little bit of a lag, but it'll be recorded and you'll be able to see it back on live as we go off. So in order to accommodate for this, I guess a little bit of lag, and to do a little exercise here, what I'd like you to do here live on the call with me is I'm going to give you like 1 minute to write down the biggest weight item, okay, in the business, or on like business related weight item that you are going to work on immediately, okay, that's going to lead to your perfect day. So I'm going to give you 1 minute here. I'm going to play the tunes, and please put the weight items into the thing. Cool. Okay, how'd we go? All right, so we've got some we've got some interesting ones here. Relationships, bad business partner, bad habits, creating the perfect plan. That's really interesting. Okay, creating the perfect plan. That's one I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. What's interesting, and it's funny, people are talking about the music. That was actually that album. That was actually the one of the albums that was playing in Project Hollywood when I first came to to LA. So for me, that is one of those things that gives me that feeling of pure freedom and just pure excitement and pure energy. And I play it every now and again. So it's funny. I brought that up because yeah, it's funny how music does that, right? And certain people do that, and certain vibes do that. So really, really interesting. So day jobs of doom, there's so much weight items there. There's a lot of stuff. Okay, really, really interesting. So let's talk a little bit more about how I deal with this. Okay, so what I want you to do is sometime today, before we jump on the next call, because again we're going to be diving in and doing a lot of business stuff. But do you see how this applies? Overall, I'm giving you the core fundamental way to think about business before we actually dive in and build businesses and grow businesses. So what I'd like you to do before we go any further in this course is I'd like you to write down a lot of these weight items, okay? And they could be big things and they could be small things. And the big things obviously need to go on, but there could be a heap of little small things. Is there a phone call that you've been putting off? Is there do you have to fax a letter to someone and you've just let it pile up? What are these little things that lead to big things? Because what I've found is if I kill a lot of these little things that are a little annoying things, they're little annoying, almost like paper cuts, right? If I clear those up, then that gives me a little boost to move on to bigger things, okay? So what I'd like you to do, here's a little exercise that I do with big and small things, but let's just try it over the course of the next day. So what I'd like you to do, I'd like to list 3 little small things that have been annoying you. Maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's just some little tiny thing that's hanging around in the back of your mind that you just haven't dealt with. So it's just a tiny little bit of weight. Let's list 3 of those, and by tomorrow, what I want you to do is have the bonfire. So what I do is I pile these things up in a list, and then it could be again big things or small things, and then I might, depending on how big the things are, I might dedicate an entire day to just having the bonfire. I'll call the people I need to call. I'll cancel the things I need to cancel. Maybe look at some of your subscriptions that you've never used. That's a good one, especially for freedom business owners. What's some of those SaaS products that you subscribe to that just eat away at you every month, $20, $70, whatever it is? What are some of those things that are just eating pieces of you that can just go, all right? So I want 3 things on your bonfire, and I want you to eliminate those 3 things before our call tomorrow. Do we have a deal? Okay, I hope we've got a deal. So we've got the buffering videos of doom, but it'll come through. Don't worry. But there's little things that are there. So guys, very, very cool. Very, very cool. Get on the bonfire. The little things that you need to put on the bonfire, and let's get rid of them. So Erwin, I feel like I'm annoying people on the phone. If that's sales calls or whatever, what can we do to change that frame or change that situation, to where you don't feel like you're annoying people on the phone, okay? So let's look at this, okay? So we've got a bit of time here for some questions, and I'll give you like a couple of minutes to like list some questions so I can answer away. I know we're getting a little bit of internet lag here. Let me just have a look. Okay, so it has, the speed here has dropped under a little bit, but it's still not too bad. So you should still be getting not too bad. All right, so I'll hang around with the questions and let's have a look. Let's have a bit of a look. Okay, if mine is laundry, does this mean I have to run around naked? So if it's laundry, maybe you have to move to Bali and get one of these lovely ladies out here to do it for you for pennies, mate. It's pretty crazy. All right, so a couple of minutes here. I'm going to just wait for the stream to catch up here and answer a couple of questions. All right, so time for the tunes. All right. Let's get into some questions here. I know some people's internet might not be going crazy, so we'll work on that. All right. So, how do you push through the resistance? From Peter. A lot of this was kind of discussed on the last couple of calls, but generally with the resistance, like if you check out that book, The War of Art, it's really, really good. It depends on specifically what activity or what it is that I need to push through. People are motivated by one of two things, okay? So either you're the type of person who is really like motivated by like the glory and like, going for it. And you're the type of person that's like extremely proactive. You're like, I just want to get there. I just want to do this. I just want to be this. Or you're the type of person that's motivated by security. So for example, or like you're motivated by like moving away from things that are bad. So for example, like, look, I want to leave my day job of doom, but I also want to be like secure as well. Does that make sense? So like, Brian, my mentor, so I'm very like go for the glory type of guy. Okay. Like I like to, go for it. And Brian, one of my good friends, Brian, who I've mentioned, he's the type of guy that will like roll around in bed until it hurts enough for him to get out of bed and get to work. All right. So it just depends on what like you've got to learn a lot about yourself and this is again something that like a really good mentor who understands this stuff can do with you, is he can like figure out your profile and he can like work out the ways to combat the resistance based on your internal profile, which is like mind-blowing stuff. And this is like, you know, the matrix style stuff. That energy and weight stuff, that kind of relates to your profile and your personal profile. And yeah, it's amazing. Like you want to start understanding these profiles too in other people and yourself, because it also helps you in sales, right? So some like products lend themselves to certain types of people. People that are motivated by like, yeah, glory, or people that are motivated by, oh no, this hurts, I want to buy something to fix this. So like some people like, and it's a spectrum. And when you get good at this, and when you get good at like this kind of profiling type thing, which I've learned from various people over the years, then it becomes like you can see it in others and you can see it in yourself, and it's really like fantastic. It's fantastic on all levels because you can learn like you know, where like what to do in like you know, business situations, what to do in any, like when you're dealing with any people. It's pretty crazy. But like for the resistance, you need to know what type of person you are and what motivates you. Tony Robbins kind of does like a really watered down version of this, like a pop culture version of this, where he's like, write down why it'll be painful and write down why it'll be great when you get this thing. So you can use both to motivate you, but generally you're more one than the other. So when you write down the weight items, like, is it better, like, do you feel better eliminating those, or do you feel better getting more like boost energy items? Like, yeah, so anyway, it's very deep level stuff, but you need to work out which one you are and who you are and know a lot about yourself. And generally it can't come from yourself, it's got to come from someone else. And again, like that's why I say at the start of this whole thing is that I think one of my biggest gifts is that I can see like where a person's at, who they are now, like kind of their profile now, and I know what it's going to take for them to get to that next, I guess that like for them to have a quantum leap, they're going to need to have like this thing or that thing or whatever, and it's different for each individual. So it's really, really interesting, and that stuff fascinates me. I just absolutely love it. So Green River Views, tim@timothymark.com is bouncing. Hey, I'll have to look into that. Have you tested it recently? I'll check that right after the call. Sorry if that's not working. You can try support@timothymark.com if that's down. Okay, let's keep going. Albert, were you always such a giving and positive person, or did life circumstances, events make you into Rad Tim from RSD Tim? Dude, I'm just like every other person. Like what you're seeing right now, me at like my energy best positive self. Okay, but I'm also like a regular fucking person. So I also have like times when I'm negative, and like I'm not like this fucking like person who walks around like always positive all the time. No one can do that, and if they did do that, they would be insane. Okay, like seriously. So you know, you're seeing me with like a lot of weight eliminated and a lot of energy boosted. You see me and when you see me. So like, yeah, just the thing is like, I guess what can, if you wanted to become a lot more positive and a lot more momentum and everything like that, it is this process, the elimination of weight and the boosting of the energy items. And you too can be like Rad Tim. Miguel, do you still do the early morning exercise, the one that's good for the brain? Absolutely, man. So I should be doing it before I got on this call, and actually on day one I did it. I walked for 40 minutes just down to the beach and back before I had the call. There's this little chemical that runs around in the brain called BDNF, and this BDNF is found to be a neuroprotector, and you produce this chemical. You produce it, I produce, all humans produce it, and there's certain things that can increase BDNF, and one of them is like exercise above a heart rate of, you know, generally around 115, like 115, depending on how old you are. And so I try and do like a brisk walk every morning, and also steps help you as well. I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but I sit a lot when I'm working. So any form of walking is great, but if you can get the heart rate up as well, then you'll boost that BDNF to start the day. So that plus a coffee or whatever can really like kickstart a day really, really well. Okay, what's good? How many hours of sleep do you typically get? I try and get 7 and 8, between 7 and 8. Sometimes I'll need less, sometimes I'll need more. Depending on how much energy I have too. Like, so if I feel like there's a lot of weight items in my life, then I actually need more sleep. I need to be on like 8 or something. But if I feel like I'm on like a real energy sort of hit, it can be as low as 6. But I generally don't do any nights that are less than like that are like the 6 nights might be like once or twice a week, max. Because otherwise I get burnout. And if I do a 6 night, it generally leads to me having like a really early sleep that next night. So sleep obviously extremely important. Extremely important. What books do you recommend? Like must-read books? I'll have a few for you as we continue, as we go forward here. All right. So, Erwin, where are we? Okay. All right. Cool. So we're still getting a bit of lag here. So here's what I'll do. All right. I apologize for this lag. Hopefully the recording will be all good, and you'll be able to get it. If not, if the recording at the end kind of sucks, what I'll do is I'll make sure, I'll see if it's it's probably recorded to my local machine so I can replace the file. If not, hey, I'll cover some questions on tomorrow's session. So I'm sorry about the lag, but I'll have it fixed by tomorrow. I'll just turn the bit rate down on the stream a little bit. That's for all you tech guys out there. And hey, like far out, I'm really enjoying this. Even though we've had some freaking crazy tech difficulties, we're absolutely killing it. But like guys, thanks so much again for joining. Hey, like I hope you're enjoying it and getting as much value out as I am. Hey, we're still like really early in the process, and I'm still looking out for a chosen one. All right. Very, very pumped, very, very excited. And hope you enjoy your night or day, wherever you are. And of course, I will see you tomorrow. Now, don't forget, if you did get value out of this, make sure you send people to this stream by going to freetraining.timothymark.com. I'm actually setting up a little training area in there, and you'll be able to access past episodes. You'll be able to see the upcoming episodes. You'll be able to chat. I'm able to answer questions, all that stuff. So I'm setting that up right now. So I'm super pumped about that. Hey, thanks again, and I will see you tomorrow on the next call. Cheers, guys.